Hey everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 to my new content playthrough for the Prepare to Die edition of Dark Souls for PC. So we're just going to jump right in here. Last video I just finished talking to Marvelous Chester and then basically just homeward bone back to the bonfire. So now I'm making my way down. Oolacile Township, it's kind of reminiscent of Undead Burg, except it's infested with these bloated abyssal creatures instead of actual hollows. They hit really hard. They're not that tough to beat. This halberd's taking them down in one hit, but they can do some damage to you. I think about 3 hits would kill me, but then again, I'm not using any upgraded armor, so your mileage may vary. That hole right there is actually an elevator. It's a shortcut that you can open up later in the level, and I'll show you where that is. So when I reach it, I'm not going to come back up, but just remember where that hole was is where the elevator will arrive at. So I mentioned I didn't kill the Marvelous Chester because he can invade you as an NPC, and you're going to see that here in just a minute. Had I killed him to get his armor before, he would not have shown up, so I had to leave him alive. Then after I kill him, I'm going to go back and kill him so I can get the armor. So he invades right around here, so you see me sneaking down here. I didn't want to have to fight him and one of the... Actually, I don't know what these guys are called. I'm just going to call them abyssal creatures. But I'll slowly walk forward here in a second, and you'll see that he just shows up. There he is. Now, strangely enough, I don't know if it was just me. His Phantom version is easier than him. See how he got stunned on the very first hit? His Phantom version doesn't. He seems to have some sort of unnatural poise when you fight him, when he's just human. So we're going to see that shortly. I'm going to go ahead and homeward bone back and run up to where he was and basically just start attacking him. I will say he's a very difficult opponent if you're not prepared. You think he's an NPC, he'll be easy to kill, but he's no joke. I was able to take him down fairly easy because I kind of knew how to fight him, but he shoots out crossbow bolts really quick. And he also has this one move where he throws out 3, they look like rose darts, I'm guessing. And they pretty much instantly bleed you unless you have really massive bleed resistance. So he's no joke to fight. So I fast forwarded just a little bit. Basically, I got the armor. I upgraded it all to about +2. I think I got the jacket to +3 because I had like 14 Twinkling Titanites. But I really like the armor. It doesn't have any poise, but I think it's one of the cooler looks in the game. The pants are just loaded with details. There's daggers in there. His boots have crossbow bolts thrown in there. There's just all kinds of stuff in there. I just really like the look of it. If I was going to play some sort of thief style build, I would definitely use these pants over the normal thief pants. The jacket's pretty cool looking as well. It's kind of reminiscent of the Wanderer jacket, but he has looks like he's wearing like a little tie and a rose. And then of course the hat has the mask, which is very reminiscent of the what do they call them? The fat officials, except he's obviously not fat. Fat officials being from Demon Souls. Obviously, if you played that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, that secret is pretty well known by now. But that pendant right there is a very important item. Now, it's not really required to beat the game or anything, but it does make it a heck of a lot easier. So this whole area that I'm in right now, you could easily miss it if you're not careful. You can roll down to it off that ledge without the railing that you saw earlier, or you can just run down and go down the stairs the real way. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff down here. You have to be really careful to get it all. In fact, I can't honestly say I've gotten everything because there might be something I've missed. I haven't really explored this area that much. This is only my 2nd or 3rd time through here. These guys could be a major pain because that magic really hurts. Thank God the first guy was right there by the doorway. I was able to take him out. Trying to take out 2 guys right there, when they're both firing at you, is really difficult. It's a physical damage, and if it hits you, it will stun you. And if you get stunned, then the other guy is going to pretty much pound you before you can recover. You saw I pick up a new sorcery there. It's one of 3 new sorceries that I know about. I haven't actually used them yet, but I know that there's been quite a few videos out there showing it. So if you're interested, you can just look up the new dark magic. So I tend to get lost in here really easily. There's too many doorways that look the same and stairways. So here in a minute or so, you're gonna see me kind of get lost and speed up the film to show to just to get past it, so you don't have to watch me running around in circles like a moron. So I think I've gotten everything out of this area. The township really isn't all that big. It's similar to the Bergdale. I mean, there's a lot of vertical sizing to it, not so much horizontal. So there's the speed up here. I finally give up and can't find the ladder, so I just make my own path. And by running and jumping on this roof where you saw the crystal lizard. So I did forget something right there. If I would have went back up those stairway, I would have found a chest that was actually a mimic, and it would have had another carving in it, I believe. The reason I missed it is because I skipped a little bit of an area by doing that little shortcut. But I'll go back and get it at a later time. Just know that if you go the path I just did, you're going to miss something unless you go back up the stairs. So this is kind of the second half of the township. The first half is kind of like a little suburbia area. This is more like bigger buildings and stuff. And this is actually a little bit of a tougher area. There's more creatures kind of smashed together, and there's more of those sorcerers. In fact, I think I died a few times in this area my first time through. Because this room I'm getting ready to go into has quite a few creatures in it. And sometimes they all get you at once. So my solution was to take out this caster right here first, if I can figure out how to roll over the ledge. But this is a guy that kept getting me. Every time I run by, he would nail me with magic, and there's another guy across the way that fires, so you kind of get caught in the crossfire. I'm sure if you play really, really slow and careful, you probably wouldn't have any trouble, but I usually don't do that too much. You guys have probably known by watching my videos. Slow and careful is not my forte. But anyway, there's a couple secret areas in this part of the level as well. These ones are actually important. There's a very, very important key in here that if you don't get, you're going to miss a large portion of the new content. I wouldn't say a large portion. I guess I could say that tongue-in-cheek. There's a special key in here that allows you to reach Goff. If you don't get the key, you can't get to him. And if you don't get to Goff, you can't really ever take out the dragon, so you do kind of miss a lot of stuff. So there's two areas right here that are new, that are secret. This is the first one, and it requires you to have the light as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't lead you to much. It only gives you a red Titanite chunk. I really thought for having a secret area, you'd get something a little bit better than that. But this next one is the one a lot of people have missed. A lot of people have requested where to find this damn key at, and here's how you do it. You'll notice there's a fireplace in that little room down there, and you have to roll into it. There's no other way in, so you just have to roll off the ledge like I just did. There's another mimic. So there's at least 2 mimics in this area. I'm sure quite a few new players have gotten eaten on the way. So there's a couple other little secrets here. You can fall off on the roof and get a couple more items, but nothing that important really. There's one off on this side. I think it's just a soul. No, it's Twin Humanities. My bad. Now, I'm going to say this up front. There could be more secrets in this area. I don't know. I haven't explored it enough, but I've covered what I think is almost all of it. So I don't know if there might be something I'm missing. But as far as I know, I've gotten pretty much everything other than the chest that I missed that had the other carving. There's one more magic over here. The dark fog. The dark fog works kind of like poison mist in a way. Whereas but I don't remember if it's poison or toxic. I've only actually been hit by it once, and it was on my first playthrough. But I can't remember which it is. But the sorcerers do cast it. So here's the shortcut I was talking about, this elevator. So once you activate it, it goes up, and it's very near the bonfire at the very beginning of the level. So once you make it this far, it lets you shortcut back to the top. This area right here is the final area before you get to the bottom part of the Oolacile Township, which becomes the Oolacile Dungeon. This one's actually kind of tough if you're not careful. There's 3 of those normal abyssal creatures, and there's 2 casters together. And the casters are kind of a pain. You just have to time it right. They tend to laugh after they cast, so if you can catch them in between, you can be okay. I died a few times my first time through here because I was insisting on trying to do backstabs and do it fancy instead of just going up slowly. So we're almost at the Oolacile dungeon. This chained up prisoner here. It's actually the only one in the game, which I thought was kind of strange. I figured it would be more of them. They have really strange delayed timing. I don't even know what the hell they are, to be honest with you. They're kind of creepy looking. They tend to drop chain armor. In fact, you'll see me when I run by, there was one there and I just didn't see it, nor did I really care to get it. So there's no secret here. I was trying, I mean, when I was in here before, I was thinking there had to be a secret here. It just looked like perfect area for them to be a secret door, but I never could find it. So I pretty much just gave up. I had already looked before, but I wanted to see one more time while I was there. So there was a little trap here I kind of forgot about. You think you're at the very end, the elevator's coming up, and it has a passenger on it. So thankfully I didn't die. I would have been stupid death right before the next bonfire. But you can see how much damage they do. Now I only have 25 vitality, but nonetheless they still hit pretty damn hard. So remember that when you want to come to this area. If you're a very low level, you're going to feel it. So anyway, I just stopped at the bonfire real quick. I got myself 20 Estus flasks again, and I'm heading down. So the chasm isn't really all that big, but there are a few things of interest in here. One of them including Sif, which I'm definitely going to do. The first time I fought Manus, I had rescued Sif, but I wasn't human, so I didn't really realize you could even summon him. So I'm going to fix that this time, and we're going to have Sif fight with us. So this area right here, it's actually the only area I would consider tough in here. It's not even that hard, but there's a sorcerer back there, and there's about 4 of these guys. And if you engage them all at once, it's pretty much a sure death. So with a Ring of Fog, you can kind of pull them one by one. Or if you had a bow and arrow or magic, I'm sure you can do the same thing. But this character is mostly melee. So while you guys are watching me go down the abyss here, I've had a few people ask, like, how you run this game so smooth, like, what's your setup? So basically, it's a fairly new computer I just pieced together about a month ago. It's a Intel i5 quad core. I got 16 gigs of Corsair RAM, 1600 megahertz. I've got Asus motherboard. I don't remember the exact model off the top of my head. I don't have a box in front of me. What else do I got? Oh, Radeon 7850, 2 gig card. I've heard Radeon AMD cards have a hard time with this game, but then maybe I've just gotten lucky, but it seems to run really smooth. And another thing to note is I get a pretty smooth performance out of it, and I'm recording, which actually makes the frame rate generally take a hit. When I turn recording off, it's actually just a little bit smoother, but overall it doesn't really affect me much. Now, if you're watching, you saw Alvina a few times. The first time I saw her, I didn't realize what was going on, but now that I play through again, it makes it very obvious. She's leading you to the hidden room where Sif is. And you'll notice that these little guys are a pain in the ass. These humanity spirits, I don't even know what they're called. Whatever they are, they have a really small hitbox. The big guys are pretty easy, but the little guys are hard to hit. And it doesn't help that my halberd has a very narrow hitbox as well. But these guys are over here doing who knows what to Sif. So we're going to rescue him real quick. And then he's going to join us for the final battle. He's obviously much smaller. So he's grown in the past, 300 years. He drops a new shield. It's very similar to the other Arturia shields. It's just called the Cleansing Shield. And you can see that those other guys, those spirits or whatever you want to call them, they drop humanity. And in fact, if you have a lot of item find, like 410, you'll get a ton of humanities. So that elevator is another shortcut. It leads back up to where I killed Chester. These are the big guys. These guys take 2. Some of these guys actually drop twin humanities. So if you want to farm humanities, there is no other better place now than this area. Baby skeletons, rats, none of that even matters anymore. These guys are actually meant to drop humanity. I get quite a few drops on my own, and I don't even have very high item find right now. Had I put the gold silver serpent ring on, or sorry, the gold serpent ring on, I definitely would have racked up a lot more of them. But anyway, I finished what I was saying about the computer. I've also got a SSD drive, 128 gig Corsair. That's what Windows and some of my programs are installed on. So Dark Souls is running on that, meaning I have extremely short load times. I mean, we're talking in a matter of 2 or 3 seconds whenever I need a load time. So it runs really well on my system. Now I am using the DS Fix. At the time I was using version 0.4. I think they're up to 0.6 now. I'm running it at 1080p on my computer, but I'm recording at 720p because the file size is so drastically different had I recorded it in higher res. But the quality is just much better. You can set the resolution much higher, and you can also change the depth of field settings. Depth of field is basically how the game handles what's blurry and what's not blurry depending on its distance from you. It's meant to mimic like a video camera or a normal camera. So basically you can change that setting to where things that are far away remain sharp instead of getting blurry. Now I wouldn't do this to the extreme because I mean the whole idea of it is to mimic a little bit of like a reality of it, how it would look to you. But by changing it at least to a medium setting, I was able to get things that are not so far away to still stay sharp, and only the things that are really far away look blurry. Basically what that does is it makes it easier to compress the video and still look good. When you compress the video, no matter how good you do it, YouTube always does another compression on it. And so the higher quality and the sharper it is when you send it to YouTube, the better it'll look. And most compression programs, or codecs I should say, basically have trouble compressing things that are transparent or blurry. So by keeping it sharp, it just makes it a little bit better quality video in the end. But as you're seeing, I'm getting a ton of humanity from these guys. They even drop twin humanities, so you can really rack up on the amount of humanities you get by farming those things. There's another carving. I believe there's 3 carvings in total. Like I said, I think I missed one of them in the previous area because I took that little shortcut, but I'll go back and get that at some point. So at this point, I think I've gotten pretty much everything out of this area that I can get. You're going to see me here look at my my menu here to see my inventory. I've gotten the 3 new sorceries, and I also got the Black Flame, which is the new pyromancy. I didn't talk about that. I was too busy rambling. I haven't used it yet. I hear it's just like Great Combustion, but it's actually a Black Flame that does physical damage. So that could be an interesting thing to use in PvP. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this area. I'm going down to fight Manus. There's one more corpse down here. It's kind of hidden. It's just right when you get to the bottom here, it'll be behind this little bridge or whatever that's supposed to be. And that's pretty much it. So I already saved Sif, and I'm in human form, so I'm going to be able to summon him for the fight. I've got my silver pendant ready, and I'll be showing you very shortly here how to use it properly when fighting against Manus. So there's going to be a cutscene, and then I'm going to be quiet so you guys can enjoy the fight, and then I'll pipe back in at the very end. So apparently Sif wasn't quite satisfied yet. He must have been pissed. He had to come in and get his final say. But either way, Manus is down. You'll notice Dusk is laying there. It's the second time we've rescued her now. She doesn't do anything but moan when you talk to her, and as far as I know, you can't really do anything else. So Manus is the official boss of the new content, and since he's down, this is theoretically the end. However, there's still the side story of Goff and the Black Dragon Calamite, and I'll also show you all the new armor and weapons in the next video. So until then, guys, take it easy.